The problem I'm addressing is outdoor concerts and events. When you go to an outdoor event, there's a big chance that you don't want to be standing the whole time or walking around. So when you want to be sitting, the ground can sometimes get a little dirty, or it could be wet, or it could even be cold on the ground or outside in general. This summer, I was at a 3-day festival and kind of was looking around, and a lot of people were sitting around with blankets, and I was wishing that I had a blanket to sit on, but instead had to sit on the dirty grass and be uncomfortable. So through that, I came up with this business that would rent or sell blankets to or be at different events, concerts, or like festivals, farmers markets, fairs, anything that involves being there for more than a couple of hours. So through research and surveys, I came up with the conclusion that people wouldn't want to carry around blankets all day and night, but they'd rather have the option of renting or even possibly buying it if they decide to from a tent at these events. Teenagers and young adults especially like this idea because they tend to lose things more often, so having the least amount of personal belongings possible was what they enjoyed the most. The business is a startup business. It hasn't actually launched yet or anything, so it hasn't had the chance to evolve, but through the business is events, so events have definitely evolved over the years, and there's a ton more music festivals and fairs and farmers markets than there was 20 years ago. So the more events, the more profit I would be making and working. So my target market is very big. Any age group goes to these events. As I said, the main research and target market I got the most positive feedback from was teenagers or young adults who attend more music festivals or fairs and everything for longer amounts of time too. So for this, I would rent and sell the blankets at these events through a tent. Just a pitch-up tent wouldn't be too expensive. If I had a particular brand of blanket or design on my blanket, I think that would also help get the word out because more people would recognize it, and then they would see that my tent is at these different events, and they'll know that they can do this and they wouldn't have to bring their own blanket. So my main competitors are places like Target or Walmart or different big stores that sell blankets for cheap, because if consumers can buy a cheaper blanket, then they'll just bring it and not necessarily care if it gets ruined or dirty, and if they leave it there because it was cheap or something. And it's also a competitor because they're doing the same thing I'm doing, selling blankets, where in my case I could be renting it as well. So the start of this business at any stage of the product lifestyle would be okay, because there's always going to be events, and in Arizona and potentially hopefully around the United States there will always be events, so it will always be a good time to start this business with all the events going on. This company will be different because you wouldn't have to necessarily buy the blanket. So I came up with maybe a price of around $20 to buy the blanket if you would want, or $15 to rent it. And then if you bring the blanket back, this is like the big catch of it, you get 10 of the dollars back. So it would only be like $5. That way I'm still making a profit by having this business, but it would be very cheap for people to rent the blanket out. And they could even, another huge thing is if they wanted to rent it, they could rent it for the whole day, but they could bring it back and then not have to pay the $5 every time. So if they rented once at the morning, they'd pay the original $15. If they brought it back, they'd get their $10 back and a receipt saying that they've already had this blanket today, so they wouldn't need to pay the $15 and technically not get their $5 and keep that adding up all throughout the day, which is a huge plus to my business. My management team needs work. I need to hire people through technology that can work on all the social media aspects and really getting the word out. Also, employee director, so someone that is in charge of hiring people more so and scheduling them to work and everything like that. I'd also need a financial officer, so someone that is in charge of finances, money, booking the events or anything. Pretty much, and then all employees that would work these events is also something that I would need to look into and hire. I would also need a good relationship with events, like event venues, as well as like event companies that would allow for my business. I could even partner up with specific event planning companies. That way, when they have events, my business is part of something bigger, is what I'm trying to say, and it would help me get involved with all different types of events, not just concerts or fairs or anything. Events around Arizona, the company grows around, it would start off in Arizona, and then eventually I do believe that this company could grow to California or anywhere in the United States, because there's events in every single state. So the biggest way of success, so through hiring people, I would also want to hire people of all different age groups, because whether they just work the events or have a bigger finance job within the company, because word of mouth, I believe, is one of the biggest ways to success in a business. So all different age groups could spread the word about this company through friends or family, all ages, and that would really help this business start up. Throughout learning and researching about the business, I learned that starting a business is very expensive and requires a lot of time and help from others as well, which would mean I would need mentors along the way and friends and family that are willing to help. It would cost somewhere between $9,000 and $15,000 to start up this company by purchasing the tents, the blankets, credit card machines, and money holders, cash equipment, chairs, pay for all the permits, pay for all the employees, and everything else that goes into a business. I would definitely need to raise money for this. I do have some in savings if I would like to get started and see where that takes me, but I would need to raise money I could even do different fundraisers at events to get my business to actually be something at an event, and not just raising money for it. So customers are interested in I believe that this business could be successful. I really do, but for the future, I would like to actually get in contact with specific people that own or work at event planning companies and see what they think, and not just kind of get input from people that go to events and stuff, more from the inside, and see if they do believe it would be successful or not. And then just kind of get more research on exact pricing and what I would want to go into with hiring and everything like that. So that is my blanket business.